Okay. Welcome. I've never done this before. I've never done a YouTube live before. Um, so I'm be rocking with y'all. Y'all rocking with me? Okay. I'm also live on TikTok, so you're gonna see me looking. But I also don't like on YouTube, like I'm like reverse, so I see myself reverse. I don't like that, but whatever. Whatever. Okay. So there's two places I want to start. Well, no, they're different. There are different spaces. So let me actually make a decision. So I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna start with the latest on the ICE occupation because it's still ongoing. The you know t- Tom Homan has said that 700 um, ICE agents have left. I take everything I take everything this administration says with a gigantic heaping grain of salt because it's yo when there's decades of evidence as to why you should not like trust these people, but like the, I take everything that's here with a grain of salt. But if we take what Tom Homan said to be true, that 700 that there's been a drawdown of 700 agents, that means there are still 2,300 agents in Minnesota, which is too goddamn many. Um, because the optimal number is zero, but that's a whole other conversation. But um, and so okay, so like, what was that yesterday? Tim Walls Tim Walls was said yesterday during a press conference that he believes. Hold on, I'm reading a news article. Uh, he said, "I spoke with Tom Homan. I spoke with Susie Wiles, who's the chief of staff, this morning. We're very much in a trust verify mode, but it's my expectation, and we will hear more from them. I think, in the next day or so, that we are talking days, not weeks and months of this occupation. I'll see it when I believe it. I will see when my eyes see that, I will believe it because you know what I'm saying today? They called ICE caused a huge car crash in St. Paul. Was it maybe in like the I don't know no look, I don't know St. Paul's business like that, girl. I don't know what St. Paul got going on. I don't okay, I know where like two places are in St. Paul. Maybe even one. I don't know what part of St. Paul, but somewhere in St. Paul. They caused a huge fucking car wreck today. Nobody Somebody was injured, like I think like from what I understand, they were chasing someone. Huge fucking car accident. Like nobody died as far as I can tell or as far as I've heard because this happened like either like I can't tell if it was like this morning or this afternoon, but it happened a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but like it happened several hours ago. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up an article about it. But no one died, thank God, but not for fucking lack of trying. I look up this goddamn if you haven't seen this car, god damn, this car is fucked up. Like airbags all up and through the bitch. Just fuck this car up in the middle of a street in St. Paul. Several cars actually. Like so. Yes, someone the person from what I'm seeing is alive. Someone was taken away in an ambulance. Like it's unclear like how it's the situation's unclear. But the point I'm making is that it's like ICE is still here. They are arresting and harassing observers. Um, a couple of these white girls that be on TikTok who be talking about like the work they do in like um doing community patrol. One of them got arrested or one of them got charged like last week. The other one thinks she about to be charged. Some white man um they who some Antifa white man, that's what I'm gonna call him, Antifa white man. I don't know this man's name. He got they went to his house. This was like last week, like the middle of last week. They went to his house, broke into his apartment building, got his ass on up out of there. Antifa Kyle, that's what. Thank you, Malcolm. So yeah, it's like it, it is it feels quieter and it feels softer. And this is exactly what I was warning about when, like, what was that? Like 2 weeks ago now, when when they got Greg Bovino out of here and then brought Tom Homan here. I literally made a video on TikTok about this, and I said, look, don't trust it. Don't trust it, because these people are Tom Homan is softer, like he's got the softer touch, but he's not different. He understands like that, like they were losing the public relations battle because it's like, oh Lord, we done killed 2 white folks in the street. Okay, we gotta let's so I said it then. I said it's going to look different, but that doesn't mean it is different. Also, right. Tom Homan, there's a picture of Barack Obama giving that man a medal. So, yeah, so this drawdown effect, like, and this, the situation in Minnesota has been such a profound failure on so many levels, but one of them is communications and public relations. It has been a gigantic communications failure from the governor and the mayor. Where is Jacob Fry? No, I know. I saw Jacob Fry in a goddamn Scully hat and some tennis shoes talking about some bullshit. I don't want to talk about Jacob Fry. It has been a gigantic public relations and a communications fucking failure. Because like they have not, in my opinion, and particularly I'm talking about Governor Walz here, they have not done a good job at communicating what they know, when they know it, why they know it, and what that information means. And this example about the drawdown is a perfect distillation of that, because Walz says, okay, I expect, hold on, here's what he said. He said, again, I spoke with Tom Homan, I spoke with Susie Wiles, who is the president's chief of staff. We are very much in a trust but verify, but it's my expectation that we will hear more from them, I think, in the next day or so, that we are talking days, not weeks and months of this occupation. Why do you think that? What did the conversations with Tom Homan and Susie Wiles, what did you learn in those conversations that makes you believe that a drawdown is imminent in the next few days? Like, why wouldn't you just say what, like, okay, and you ain't got to blow up the spot, okay, maybe, but like, why do you believe that? Like, and I feel like so much of Walz and Fry, like it has been, someone said, an incredible lack of transparency. Like it's been like the trust that has been destroyed, it's going to be hard to quantify the impact of that. And it didn't need to happen. It did not need to happen. Like I suggested weeks ago, I'm like, Walz should be doing daily press conferences. Daily. And this man he has been doing press conferences, but again, they've not been super transparent, they've not been super informative. He's just been mostly like, and I've been asking Mr. President to do, okay. Yeah, it's just been an incredible communications failure. And you know what's funny, and which is wild to say, because these niggas been talking to everybody. New York Times, Washington Post, Atlanta, everybody. They didn't talk to everybody except for us. Jacob Fry has talked to everybody except for the people of Minneapolis. It wouldn't be funny. It's not funny. It's awful. But it's just like, brother, okay, so you in the New York Times, can you be on okay, can you be on Hennepin Avenue talking to us? Can you do anything? No? Okay. All right. Well, shit. Like, these people haven't been talking to us about nothing. And I think it's just like, it is, so yeah, if the drawdown happens, okay. I don't believe shit till I see it. I don't believe nothing till I see it. And also, yeah, Tim Walz, hold on. because I need to pull up an article that I saw. Robin Wansley, who's a council member, who's a Minneapolis City Council member. I saw her reference in a video yesterday. I just want to bring it up to read myself. So, okay. So let me give you a little bit of backstory. So for the past, my cat is sitting right here with me. Hi, Cheeky Daddy. For the past like month or so, yeah, for the past month or so. So it started first with the Minneapolis City Council. They passed a unanimous resolution asking Tim Walz to enact an eviction moratorium, because the issue is that with this ICE surge, and I think this is like an underreported part of what has been happening in Minneapolis. I mean, because I understand why, but it is like the economic impact of Operation Metro Surge has been profound. Like some businesses have just been straight up shut down, reduced hours, because there are a lot of people who are afraid to go to work. Um, uh, uh, Afraid to leave their homes, right? Like there are literally people who are just like sheltering in place in their homes because they are afraid that if they go outside, ICE is going to kidnap them. And as a result, like they're like the Star Tribune released an article, I think it was like last week, talking about the economic impact on Lake Street, which is like like a sort of immigrant corridor in the city. And the economic impact is estimated to be around $46 million. Like kids are not going to school. Like the Minneapolis, I know for sure Minneapolis. I'm not sure about St. Paul and other school districts. They've had optional virtual learning for kids who are afraid to leave their homes. Like the economic impact has been profound, right? And so the Minneapolis City Council passed a unanimous resolution asking Tim Walz to enact an eviction moratorium. I believe St. Paul has also done it as well, and other cities around the state have been saying, hey, in your power as governor, like this power rests in you, enact an eviction moratorium. Like let's keep people in their homes. And there's been a ton of mutual aid work done to like raise rent funds for people and pay rent, and that's been fantastic, but it's not enough, right? It's never going to meet the scale of the need in a scalable way, right? And I understand that an eviction moratorium does not it doesn't do anything about the rent itself, right? But it does have the effect of keeping people in their homes while this crisis is going on, right? Like it's not nothing. So again, Walz has been being asked to do this for at least a month, and he just basically hasn't responded to it. He like I have not seen like the only thing I've seen is something that Councilmember Wansley posted in a video that she uploaded, I think, like yesterday, where like Walz was like, "Oh, it could have legal ramifications," but then that was sort of it. But like otherwise, he really hasn't responded to the request for an eviction moratorium. Sister Cat, what? What? And oh, okay. What legal right, someone asked, even okay, if there are legal ramifications, what are those, Tim? What are the things you're weighing? What is nothing? Nothing. And here's the thing. Okay. I'm going to say this and try not to crash out while doing it. I'm going to say this and try not to crash out while doing it. So many of you, whenever I've talked about this eviction moratorium, Malcolm, I blocked him. So the Gen X said I blocked him. So you ain't even got to worry about that. He's probably not okay, but he ain't here. Whenever I've talked about Walz in this eviction moratorium, the immediate response I get from people is because okay, and another part of this backstory is that in order to enact an eviction moratorium, Walz would have to declare a state of emergency, right? And so there's a whole bunch of people who've been like, well, he won't declare the eviction moratorium because if he has to declare a state of emergency, and if he does that, then Donald Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act, and then he'll cancel the election. I need y'all to be so motherfucking for real. I need y'all to be so fucking tell me how that makes sense. Stop to think, okay, so you heard what I said. You can't declare a state of emergency because Trump will declare that will make Trump declare the Insurrection Act, and then he'll cancel the election. Tell me how that makes sense. I'm the thing that I have found so frustrating the last couple of months is people will say shit and then won't think about for 3 fucking seconds if that what they are saying actually makes any goddamn sense. Let's take it into its pieces. So Walz declares a state of emergency, Trump invokes the Insurrection Act. Why would that happen? I'm dead at you. Why would that happen? Like how is that why do you think that would be the response? I don't that thing doesn't how does that thing logically follow the other thing? No, and the fact that nobody has been able to tell me this, that's how you, if nobody can explain to you simply why the thing they're saying makes sense, it doesn't make sense, I promise you. Why would Walz declaring a state of emergency mean Trump invokes the Insurrection Act? Why would that happen? And the argument, the only argument I can see is like, well, then Trump, because Trump would see it as an act of aggression. Why wouldn't Trump see everything that's happened over the last 2 months as an act of aggression? That doesn't. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? And the thing is, when you say shit like, well, if they do this, that's going to make Trump do that. That tells me you don't actually know shit about Donald Trump. That tells me you don't. That tells me that it's you so scared of this nigga, but you don't actually know shit about him. You don't know shit about him because Donald Trump doesn't need a goddamn. Donald Trump has shown us for a decade that he will invent a reason. He will whole cloth invent a reason. He made up a story about Haitian people eating cats and dogs in Ohio to demonize immigrants. That man doesn't need a reason to do what he gonna do. He gonna do whatever he want to do whenever the fuck he want to do it. He don't care. So this idea that you can't act because Trump is, y'all treat that nigga Trump like he's Pennywise. Oh my god. Y'all treat that nigga like he is all, oh my god, dog. It that man breathe and you're like, he's Trump, he can do whatever he wants. Why are y'all so scared of this thing? This 80-year-old dotty ass old racist nigga from New York. Why are you worried about him? This man likes to eat McDonald's, be in Florida, and what the hell are y'all talking about? Girl, y'all scary. Y'all are scary. Y'all niggas are scary. My God. Get a backbone. Why the fuck would that happen? Why would that be a logical outcome of declaring a state of emergency that Trump would invoke the Insurrection Act? Why the fuck would that happen? And then more than that, this nigga falls asleep in cabinet meetings and y'all were, oh my God. Okay, so why would that happen? 2, let me block this person in the shit. So why would that happen? 2, more than anything, y'all don't think about, so you don't follow, if you think that that's going to happen, that's nonsensical. 1. 2, it also tells me that you fundamentally do not understand American politics. That's what it also tells me. Because Trump sent Tom Homan here because he's in a weakened position. He is weak on immigration right now. Donald Trump is so deeply fucking unpopular right now, and I know you all think that doesn't matter, but it does. And he had to, after Alex Preddy got killed, he had to back off of the hardcore immigration shit, they had to be like, oh, okay, well, hold on. That's why Greg Bovino got out of here. That's why Tom Homan came, because they recognized that the public was against them, and they were like, oh shit, okay, ooh, it's getting real bad, it's getting real spooky. Okay, we got to back off for a second. So you have put them. So public sentiment has turned against them, which and that shows in the actions they wanted to take. That shows in the actions they wanted to take. That shows in the actions that they took after Alex Preddy was murdered. In that they were like, okay, we have to back off. We came in a little too strong. People are pissed. Okay, so if he had to back off of that, what makes you think he's now in a strong enough position to do something like the Insurrection Act? Why would you think that? And again, this is, and I don't want anybody to hear me and think, oh, there go Amber caping for American institutions. They think American institutions are going to hold up. I don't think that. That's not what I think. That is not what I think. That don't be fucking for real. That's not what I think. I just don't. I hate illogical bullshit. I just don't like when shit don't make no sense in every regard. Like in the conversation about like canceling the election. Perfect example. I'm one of those people that's like, Donald Trump is not going to cancel the election. What do y'all be talking about? That's not going to happen. Because that doesn't mean anything. There's no way you cannot just say election, no election canceled, can't stop them. That's not how, that's literally practically, that's not how elections work. Could Donald Trump interfere with them? Could he undermine the results of them? Could he seize voting ballots? Yes, of course. Yes, we should all be worried about that. Canceling? That's the thing. Words mean things. Words mean things. And so when you just say, well, he's going to cancel the midterms, that can't happen. So let's focus on the things that actually can happen, which is election interference, the cancellation of the election. That's not how elections work. That's not how elections work. That's not how, okay. And y'all just be y'all got Trump derangement syndrome. Y'all got Trump derangement system. Y'all be, Donald, y'all hear Donald Trump, y'all be shaking. I don't know. I just don't find a nigga that scary. I just don't. I don't know. Because like, okay, I have a cat here. What the fuck are you doing, nigga? Why would you do, okay, come on. Do you want to leave the room? Is the door, okay, I gotta let my cat out. Hold on a second. Do you want to leave this room? Come on. There. Yeah, y'all just, and you know whose fault this is? Do you know whose fault this is? It's the Democratic Party's fault. They have made you believe in the invincibility of the Republican Party. They have made you believe that Donald Trump is all powerful. He can do whatever he wants. This is, and that's a problem, because then it makes you afraid to act. Like, for example, like, why are you, and this is the other thing that pisses me off about the argument about Tim Walz, when you were like making the argument, it's like, well, he can't do an eviction moratorium because Donald Trump, why are you running cover for Tim Walz? You're giving Tim Walz an out. When you make that bullshit argument that doesn't make any sense, you give Tim Walz an out. You don't force him to explain himself. You don't force him to answer the tough questions. You just run cover for him. You're running cover for a politician to not do his fucking job. Tim Walz has not declared an eviction moratorium because Tim Walz doesn't give a fuck to declare an eviction moratorium. He said, girl, that's going to upset the landlord and the donor class. I can't do that. That's why he hasn't declared an eviction moratorium. No. This is not about Donald Trump. That's not about Donald Trump. He doesn't want to. Tim Walz doesn't want to. That's why he hasn't done it. That's and the video I made yesterday, because it's not just Tim Walz. Where the fuck is Amy Klobuchar? You want to be the governor? Okay, so someone asked her, Amy, do you support an eviction moratorium? You want me to vote for you later this year, right? Okay. Not two Amy's in the chat being like, who? These people, you want people later this year to vote for you, right? Peggy Flanagan, uh, um, Angie Craig, y'all want to be? Do you support an eviction moratorium? Not to. I haven't. The only people who I'm not pissed off at in Minneapolis politics right now is the Minneapolis City Council, and it ain't even all of them. There's like a couple. Robin Walmsley, Robin Walmsley, Elia Payne, Jason Chavez, Aisha Chugtai, Arun Chowdhury, Soren Stevenson, Jamal Osman, the People's Mayor Omar Fateh. There's like 10 niggas in Minneapolis politics who I'm actually fucking with right now. The rest of y'all, not doing enough. Not doing enough. Because if there was a unified message, if there was a unified front of Democratic politicians in this state asking Tim Walz or continuing to put pressure on Tim Walz to enact an eviction moratorium, because this is not just a Minneapolis problem. This is not just a Minneapolis issue, because ICE has not just been in Minneapolis. They've been all over the state. So later this year, when these people are asking you to vote for them, I just hope you remember, and I hope you ask them, why didn't you publicly come out in support of an eviction moratorium during the ICE occupation? Why weren't you in support of that? Publicly. Amy Klobuchar. Okay. So there's some new polling. When did this polling come out? This is from... When is this from? February 11th. Oh, literally today. Literally today. Okay. I looked at it earlier. I didn't realize it was that new. Okay. There is some polling in the 2026 races. Hold on. And it's from Emerson College. Hold on. We got some crosstab. Ooh, I love a crosstab, bitch. Hey, oh, okay. So actually I'm looking. Ooh, Angie Craig got a problem, sister. Okay, so I'm looking at. So I'm gonna look at the top line takeaways, and then I'm gonna look. This is actually some fantastic polling. Now that I'm really digging. Oh, girl, yeah. Oh, I love a poll. I got some crosstab, bitch. I love a crosstab. I love a crosstab, bitch. Hold on, but I'm gonna look at the top line. Then I'm gonna dig into it a little bit because I'm actually just seeing. I didn't realize there was more here. So what's most interesting about this poll for me is that it has several hypothetical gubernatorial matchups. So it puts like Klobuchar, DeMuth, Klobuchar, and Lindell. So in a hypothetical matchup between Klobuchar, so it's 1,000 respondents, and a hypothetical matchup between Klobuchar and DeMuth, 51% said that they would support likely voters. I don't know what the question was. Is it support or like would they vote for? 51% are for Klobuchar, 38% for DeMuth. Against Klobuchar and Lindell, 53% for Klobuchar, 31% for DeMuth. And I posted about this, and then they have some data on the Senate matchup, which I don't love, I'm gonna be honest with you. So in Flanagan, so Tafoya is like Michelle Tafoya is likely to be the Republican candidate for Senate. Um Flanagan versus Tafoya. So for against both Flanagan or Craig, they're both polling at 47%, and then for Flanagan, Tafoya's polling at 41%. Craig, she's polling at 40%. I don't love that. That's a little too close for comfort. I want to look at the last I need to look at the last Senate matchup. Well, what would that have been? Who was it? It was Royce White and Amy Klobuchar. Well, that's a different race because there's Amy Klobuchar was the incumbent. I don't know. I want to see how much she won by, but that's not a big. That's not. I don't think Demuth is going to gain as much. In this hypothetical matchup, Klobuchar is beating her 51-38. That's a lot of ground to make up, sister. But you know what? More than anything, what I actually want to use these numbers to talk about is the fact that it's even more fucking frustrating. Like, these numbers make me even more frustrated that we don't have a true primary matchup between the Democrats in Minnesota. That makes me even more frustrated because Amy Klobuchar just got into the race yesterday, is not doing serious campaigning. She's beating Lisa DeMuth by 15 points. She's beating Mike Lindell by 22 points. She ain't even got to do nothing. Sister ain't even doing nothing. She up by double digits. And why that's frustrating is because if an unpopular candidate, I'm going to answer your question. Gwen is asking, why aren't we having a primary? I feel like most people do. I will answer that question in a second. She's not even doing anything. Klobuchar's not even doing anything and she's winning. So that indicates that Democrats in this state are in a really strong, if you don't even really got to be campaigning to win, you were in a super strong position to win. So why are you not, why are you going so conservative in your pick when you don't actually have to? And you're answering the question. Like, the reason we are not having a true primary is because, and this is not even conspiracy theory brain. It's not. It's just how politics work. The DFL has rigged this primary for Amy Klobuchar. You cannot tell me that there is no, that's actually not. I think there's two things afoot. One, the first thing is that I think the DFL has rigged this primary for Amy Klobuchar. I think there was a lot of behind the scenes, because I think people just run for office and they don't have internal conversation with the party about it. Like, people have been like, well, someone else can just run. It's open. Yeah, they can, sister, but that's not how elections work. Do you not know how party politics work? That's not what happens. Why do you think nobody primaried Joe Biden in 2024? Because people were working behind the scenes to make sure that didn't happen. Like, this is how politics. So this idea that it's like, oh, well, anybody can get in. What? That's not. What are y'all talking about? That's not how this works. So I think the DFL, there were behind the scenes machinations where the DFL made it such that nobody else was going to run and that they cleared the field for Amy Klobuchar. I think that's what happened. I think that's the first thing that happened. I think the second thing that happened is that the Minnesota Democratic Party, who do they have on their bench for real? Now, I always pause here and say that here is where we are seeing the murder of Melissa Hortman. Like, it's already awful and like terrible, but here is where you're feeling it politically, because Melissa Hortman would have been a good option, but she was obviously murdered, so she is not an option. So when you think about it, who does the Democratic Party have on their bench who could run? It would otherwise be Peggy Flanagan, but she is obviously running for Senate. Angie Craig, who is also not a good option, but is also just running for Senate. Keith Ellison, but he's kind of old. and he's also running again for Attorney General. People keep saying Melvin Carter. Melvin Carter, that was never gonna. Melvin Carter, just who was the mayor of St. Paul. Melvin Carter just lost re-election like a couple of months ago. And again, white men fail up all the time, so I'm not opposed to it. But it just would be awkward to be like, well, you were the sitting two-time incumbent mayor of St. Paul, but the people said no and they voted you out. But why don't you become governor? Like that just would be odd. Oh, Jacob Fry has a great future in statewide politics when he's done. You're going to get blocked for that. We don't take, no, this is a Jacob Fry hate train. No, nothing positive about Jacob Fry. No. So like the problem, so this is Ken Martin's fault. What is that cat back there? What are you doing? Okay, you're not doing enough. Okay. This is Ken Martin's fault. Because why is the only person who felt like they were in a strong enough position to run for governor right now on the fly? Why was that Amy Klobuchar? Why is there only one person? And also, you know whose fault this is? This is Tim Walz's fault. This is Tim Walz's fault because Tim Walz should have never run for re-election in the first place. And that's actually, when I said that Tim Walz should drop out, I think people thought I was responding solely to the fraud scandal. I wasn't. I was not. Like Tim Walz was never the right candidate. He never should have run for a third term. He never should have run for a third term. That was always a bad decision. Nobody has ever won a third term for governor of Minnesota. The fraud stuff was already happening because, again, that's a new national story. That is not a new Minnesota story. There was articles coming out in the fall of 2024 before the Nick Shirley shit, like where party insiders were like, hey, I don't know if this is a great idea for Walz to run. I don't know. This isn't like he was never in a strong position to run and he shouldn't have. And because he didn't run, we've now been forced. People felt like, oh, well, there's not enough time. So we just have to run Amy Klobuchar. And so now we got stuck with this bullshit. It's Joe Biden all over again. It's literally Joe Biden 2.0. A nigga with too much hubris to step down until it was too fucking late, not even too late, but until people felt like it was too late, we get stuck with a candidate and don't have a choice in who we pick. It's Joe Biden 2.0. He should, someone said he should have told Peggy last year. He should have made the decision not to run again, opened the field, given people a lot of fucking runway to make a choice. But because he didn't, and again, this is what I keep saying, maybe we still would have ended up with Amy Klobuchar. Okay, I don't like Amy Klobuchar, but okay. My problem is the lack of the process. Why couldn't have no sort of process to pick somebody? We just got to unilaterally appoint an unpopular or a candidate with this much goddamn baggage? Because I'm on this Emerson College poll and I've gone a level deeper and they're doing unfavorables across a bunch of different candidates. For Amy Klobuchar, she's at 48% favorable, 40% unfavorable. Not great. Not great. Angie Craig at Angie Craig, girl, sister, you're not gonna win. Andrew Craig's not. I'm gonna call it now. Andrew Craig is not winning that primary. She's not winning. She is at. I don't think Andrew Craig's gonna win. Andrew Craig is at 35% favorable, 35% unfavorable. Peggy Flanagan, 37% favorable, 32% unfavorable. Mike Lindell, he's at 22% favorable, 52% unfavorable. Lisa DeMuth, 21% unfavorable, 21% favorable, 24% unfavorable. Now, some of these people are unknown. Like Lisa DeMuth is kind of unknown. Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar is very well known. She's only at 8% unsure, no opinion. So it's like, why would you choose to run a candidate who doesn't even have 50% favorability? Like, yeah. I'm looking at the rest of this. So the question reads, if the 2026 election for Minnesota House of Representatives were held today, would you support the DFL candidate or the Republican candidate on the ballot? 48% said the DFL candidate, 41% said the Republican candidate. If the 2026 election for Senate were held today and the candidates were DFL candidate Peggy Flanagan and Republican Michelle Tafoya, who would you support? 47% say Peggy Flanagan, 40% say Michelle Tafoya. For the same question, but with Angie Craig and Michelle Tafoya, 46% Angie Craig, 40% Michelle Tafoya. If the 2026 election for governor were held today and the candidates were DFL candidate Amy Klobuchar and Republican Lisa DeMuth, who would you support? 51% say Amy Klobuchar, 37% say Lisa DeMuth, 4.6% say someone else, and 6% are undecided. So yeah, like, again, you're not even doing nothing and you're running at 51% of the vote against a Republican. Yeah. But y'all gonna tell me I'm crazy like that? But I'm crazy because I don't maybe just want to support Andrew Craig, Amy Klobuchar. Okay. 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 All right, sister. And someone's like, people keep making this argument to me. They're like, well, the stakes are too high. We can't afford a. When are the stakes not high? Tell me when the stakes aren't high. You said, Umbrella, you're not making a good argument with the polling data, but I'm with the spirit of it. Say more. I would love to hear more. We could talk about it. Fuck, what was I saying? Damn, I'm reading it. It threw me off. I just that's what I was saying. People are saying it's like we need to have the stakes are too high, and so we just need to run a candidate that can win. But I'm like that. I understand that mindset if you're in a place where you historically do not win. That makes a lot of, if you are in a place where it is difficult for you to win statewide, I get it. Yeah, okay, yeah, you have to sort of I get it. That's not the position that the Minnesota Democrats are in. That's literally not the position that they're in. So, you are not in a position where you are weak. You have the electoral advantage, but for some reason people are acting like Democrats don't. It truly boggles my mind sometimes. I'm like, when people are like, well, we just have to start winning and we have to win. Why? You're saying I think there's more risk than that poll shows. DeMuth will beat Klobuchar. Mark my words. We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that. I don't think that is the case. I don't think, but hey, we have to agree to disagree on that. I think Amy Klobuchar is going to win. I think Amy Klobuchar will be the next governor of Minnesota. I mean, whatever, anything can happen. Obviously, girl, I ain't no goddamn fortune teller. But I think she will. I think Amy Klobuchar will win. I do think Amy Klobuchar will win. And it just don't need to be this way. It don't need to be this way. There's you say, Glenn, Republicans are more unfavorable than they have been in a minute. Isn't this a time to capitalize? Correct. It is. You've two of the Republican candidates in Minnesota. So what's that name? What's that? Chris Medell. He dropped out because he was like, oh, it's real spooky over here. They're kind of crazy. I need my mama to pick me up. He dropped out a couple weeks ago. Scott Jensen, who was the candidate, he was the Republican candidate during the last gubernatorial cycle. He withdrew from the governor's race and announced a run for state auditor. So it's like, you're not even now. The Jensen thing is probably just like a polling, like, hey, whatever, we gotta move resources around. But like, one of the candidates, like the pressure on the Minnesota Republican Party was so bad, shit was looking so bad for them, that one of their a candidate who was polling well, like third, I think, in some polls, was like, I can't, I don't want to be around these people no more. Take me home. Okay. Don't you think it was kind of weak for Walz to pull out? I don't. He shouldn't have been in the race to begin with. And this is the thing people have to understand. I think people are assuming that Walz dropped out because of the Nick Shirley stuff. That was just the icing on the cake. This had been a problem. This was always going to be a problem for Tim Walz. It had been a problem for 2 to 3 years. And not for me, because I don't give a shit about the fraud stuff. I've been on record. I don't care. It had always been, it was always going to be a problem. And he had been told, there had been grumblings of people saying, I don't know about that. I don't want him to run, for months. The Nick Shirley stuff was just the icing on the cake. That's actually, but it was always going to go like that for Tim Walz. He shouldn't have run. And I think people are like, well, Nick Shirley said what he said wasn't true. Okay. He shouldn't have been running. He shouldn't have been in the race to begin with. He should not have been in the race to begin with. Do you think Walz and team just felt really strong coming off of 2024? Probably. Yeah, he probably felt like, okay, I've got a lot of political capital. I've made a name for myself. I've made a name for myself nationally. Like, people really like me. Like, I see why he thought he could do it. It was the wrong choice, but I see why he thought he could. Like, I see the logic of how he got to the decision he got to. I don't agree with that logic, but I see it. But I see it. Okay. I want to be nice. How do I want to say this? I want to be nice. People get asking me if there are other candidates in the governor's race. There's at least one other candidate that I know of whose name is totally escaping me right now, but I know they follow me on Instagram. The problem, though, is, and this is the other thing, you can't just run for elected office. Like, it depends on the level that you're running at. Like, the more local, I don't want to say the easier it is, because it's still, but the less challenging it is, the less money you need, the less visibility you need, the higher up you go, the more money, resources, infrastructure, support you need to be able to do that. And so I say all that to say is, like, there is at least one other candidate I know of that is running for governor, but it is clear they are just like an independent person who is just like, I want to run for governor and I want to do that. And that's great. I love that for you, sister. Yes, you're not going to win because of the fucked up structure of American politics. Money equals winning. Party support equals money equals winning equals donor list equals right. And so it's like, when people are like, well, you should just run for governor. Even if I wanted to do that, even if I don't, oh my God, that sounds like the worst thing in the world. But even if I wanted to do that, that fundamentally misunderstands what running for elected office looks like. And I think people think you just like, well, you just file the paperwork and you just run. Okay, yeah, that is literally how it works. That literally is how it works. A lot more to it than that, though. There's a lot. I don't know if you're. There is a lot more to running for. Do you know how many people you have to pay? Do you know how much you have to pay for? Like, I don't. What? So there are. So yes, there's at least one other candidate who's running for governor. I love that for them. It, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't want. I would. If I could have one. If I could have one wish. That's not true. If I had a bundle of wishes and some time to spare, I would ask for people to stop at asking me if I'm going to run for office. Oh my god, I hate that question. Oh, I hate it so bad. I hate it so bad. I hate it so. What about me says I want to hold elected office? Tell me quickly so I can change it. What about me says that? What about me? What and more than anything, what about me says electable to public office? What have you seen for me that says, yeah, that person? In white supremacist American society, that person can thrive. Being someone says because you're intelligent, a lot of people are intelligent. There are a lot of people who are intelligent. There are so many people who are intelligent who do not run for public office, and it also I think but more than anything, why the question frustrates me is because it makes an assumption that the um it makes the assumption that the only way to have an impact politically is by being an elected official. And that just isn't true. Like there are so many ways to have an impact in American politics that do not require you to hold elected office. And I think also when people say it's like, well, you should run, it's like, well, one, I don't want to do that. And two, I am effective in what I do. I in the way that I am engaging politically now, that's what I want to do. Trina, yeah, Trina said you would have to win the whole state, not the Twin Cities. I could, if I wanted to run for an elected office, I could maybe get elected in like Powderhorn or like the ward that Robin holds. I could maybe get elected there. Maybe. But one, I don't live in either of those areas. Um, um, but like in the ward I live in Minneapolis, could never get elected. I'm talking about city council here. Could never get elected. These white folks that live over here, they'd be like, they'd be terrified. No, sister. Mm-mm. No, I don't want to do that. Hell no. Girl, y'all saw that. Yo, did y'all see that goddamn that ape meme that Trump put out about the I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because when will y'all just start believing Donald Trump when he tells y'all that he's racist? I feel you know what? Free my brother. Free my brother Donald Trump. Why won't y'all just believe him? I'm sorry, like listen to men. He's been trying to tell y'all for fucking 40 years that he racist and y'all won't believe him. Let that man. Why won't like listen to him? Believe his story. He's been trying to tell you. Was the full page ad calling for the death penalty of black children? Was that not enough? That was the blocking black people from accessing homes that apartments that he owned. Was that not enough? Was birtherism that wasn't enough for y'all? Why won't y'all listen to that man? He's been trying to tell you. And so the only thing that's funny to me about this is people are like, the president is racist. Yeah, sister. Yeah. He I yeah, I don't They're over there doing blood and soil nationalism. Do y'all ever I don't get on Twitter a lot, but when y'all be on Twitter, do y'all be looking at like do y'all ever see the like tweets or the tweets from like fucking like the different like departments like ICE and DH, do y'all see their tweet like their recruitment tweets? It's just straight up white nationalist memes. It's white nationalist like Nazi memes like that, not even an exaggerate like yeah, they're racist, sister. They've been. Why won't y'all believe them people? I don't understand. What is so hard to believe about a naughty old man uh who grew up in New York City being racist? What is so hard to believe? A rich nigga at that. What is so hard to believe? What is so hard to believe about that? Someone said they're literally using the exact phrases. The exact phrases. The exact fucking phrases. They're not even hiding the white nationalism. JD Vance got on stage like what a month or two ago and said, "Yeah, this is a country where people don't have to be afraid to be white anymore." They're they're chanting blood and soil. What did you think? What did you think that meant? What did y'all think that meant? Okay. I'm unclear what y'all thought that meant because they are racist. They are racist. Girl, okay. So I Benito. Okay, so Bad Bunny. Why? Okay, I have only in the last like few months or so really only listened to Bad Bunny and also really looked at him. Why didn't y'all tell me he was fine like that? Why didn't y'all tell me Bad Bunny was fine like that? Why was that a secret or did y'all all know? Did everybody know except me? Okay, well whatever, I know now. Also, why didn't y'all tell me Ricky Martin was fine? Oh my god. When Ricky Martin me and Patrice, we were home watching it. When Ricky Martin came on stage, I literally said, "Is that Ricky Martin?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, has Ricky Martin always been this fine? Ricky Martin looks good. And look, I know he don't want nothing to do with me, and we don't want nothing to do with each other. He gay, I'm gay. We couldn't do nothing. But hold on. What's Ricky Martin's name? Hold on. Let me look at him. Ricky Martin. Enrique. Yeah. Fine. Ricky Martin was up there fine. I can live La Vida Loca, Ricky. Outside, inside. I could do that with you, Ricky. It's really not an issue. He got good teeth. How old is he? 54. Oh, that's a fine Puerto Rican man. Yeah, that's a fine Puerto Rican man. Not Jessica Alba. We love everybody. They said everybody can come. No, literally, they said everybody can come here. That's the thing. Ricky Martin is finer now than he was when I was a child. He is finer now. Girl, look, what I appreciate about Bad Bunny, he had everybody up there. He said the white Latinas, the black ones, Dominican, everybody was up there. Yeah. Yeah, sister, everybody was up there. And how this is why, again, as someone who has I'm not a super big fan of Bad Bunny's music, but I have listened to it in the last couple of months. Dominique, when Dominique said Ricky had on a waist, Dominique said, "Not Ricky with the waist." I also lost a true treater. This is how you know Bad Bunny's music goes so fucking hard. I don't know the word that man is saying. Which I know. I don't know a word that man's saying. Still going. Still goes. Stop the fucking AI summary of this live. It's DFO rigged election in Minnesota. Yeah. And what I appreciated about that performance, this is why, I'm a person who so quickly changes, who will so what I appreciate about myself is that I'm a person, I'm curious. One, I'm curious about the world, and two, I am willing to change my mind or take on a new perspective when I learn something new. Because like as I was watching Bad Bunny's performance, like I didn't get a lot of it. I was like, "Oh, I was like, it's great, beautiful gowns. The gowns are fantastic." But there was a lot I didn't get because I'm not Puerto Rican or Latino. But like but the thing I have enjoyed so much about it is like afterward hearing people describe the significance of like the power lines. Well, like I kind of knew something about like their power and infrastructure was bad. Hearing people describe the power lines, the older lady who served him the shot, like the Latino or the Puerto Rican club in New York City, like hearing being like, oh shit, I really learned about like the I learned around Puerto Rican independence. Free Puerto Rico. Free Puerto Rico. What the free Puerto Rico? That like, and so I've taken in all this new information. I'm like, yeah, free Puerto Rico. That's all it is. Period. The free marginalized people. Like it takes nothing for me. I will immediately learn something and be like, yeah, Puerto Rican people want independence, so it's free Puerto Rico. It's period. That's the end of the conversation. There, what is there to talk about? Ricky Martin was up there singing like, "Hey, we don't want to become Hawaii. They're taking our beaches. They're taking my grandma's house. It's gentrification. We don't want to become like Hawaii. Free us." Yeah. Period. Period. Um. Yeah, what I appreciated so like one of my dear friends who I love dearly is Puerto Rican. When I tell you this lady, she sent me a picture before the bowl, before his performance, had hung up a gigantic Puerto Rican flag in her house, had an ofrenda up before like this meant the world to Puerto Ricans and it meant the world to me. And I love that. I love that for them. And I don't got to understand it because it's not for me to understand. Like it's for me to understand, but like in the moment, not understanding the significance of it. I do get it now. Like, but like, or like the sugar cane, starting in the sugar cane field. I mean, it's like, well, no, I actually did the sugar cane in the Caribbean, but it's like, yeah, that's their culture. Yeah, so it's free Puerto Rico. Freedom people. Cause and getting people their lights. And getting people their lights. Choosing to watch a Kid Rock performance rather than to shake ass to Bad Bunny because you are racist is quite a choice. But girl, sister, you know, hey, it wasn't me. I was watching Benito shake dick on top of a uh on top of the store. So I not me. I was where I was supposed to be. I was clocked in. Uh I was watching Benito be fine. I was watching Rick. Why was Lady Gaga there? Why was Lady Gaga there? Okay. What do they have? Do they are they? Why was what is? Am I missing the significance of Lady Gaga? Like, why was she there? Like, couldn't get nobody else? I would have appreciated if not a word of it was in English. But you know, hey, I don't, you know, because when um because I remember when it like panned up and I was looking, I was like, wait, is that Stephanie? And I was like, is that Lady Gaga? Why is it? And I literally said a lot. I was like, why is Lady Gaga here? I'm so confused. Why is she? What does she got to do with this? What do you know about Puerto Rico, sister? What's? Why are you at this Puerto Rican wedding? Why couldn't you bring Cardi B up and do I Like It with her? I thought Cardi was gonna be. Yeah, Cardi was right there. I like it like that. Why couldn't we do that? Where was J Balvin? Why I don't know. But I'm not. But again, maybe the Bad Bunny fans know something that I don't. I don't know why I don't know why Stephanie was there. I don't know why Stephanie was there. Lady Gaga was you know, and she did her function. You know, she did her, and like that was a fun little like dance break that they did. That was very cute. It was very fun. That they did. That was very very fun. Like you know, I had fun with it, but it was weird. It was weird, but I did have a very good time. I had a very good time, and I feel like it made me like a bigger Bad Bunny fan. Or look, even J Lo. That is about Jennifer Lopez is one of the most. Jennifer Lopez is Puerto Rican. Rican. No, I'm not about to. Now I'm not about to do what T.S. Madison. Jennifer Lopez is Puerto Rican, right? I just want to double check. I'm not being. She Jenny from the Block. She Puerto Rican. The Block is in Puerto Rico. Yeah, she Puerto Rican. She Puerto Rican. Where was Jennifer Lopez? Where was my sister Jennifer? Jenny from the Block. What she? J Lo is directing a movie. Okay. Yeah, I was just like, we couldn't get Jennifer. If Jennifer Lopez could have got up there sang, well, no, because if Jennifer Lopez would have sang, then Ashanti would have had to be there, and maybe she was booked. She with Nelly, they got that baby she got. So maybe she couldn't have done that. Maybe she couldn't have done that. Only some of you are going to get the shade that I just threw, and that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Okay, I'm gonna close out talking about Oscar Best Pictures. I get the shit. Thank you, Trina, for getting the shade I threw. Thank you, I appreciate that. Ashanti was booked. Was she scooting across somebody? Was Ashanti scooting across somebody's stage, child? Okay, I'm gonna give an update on the Oscars Best Pictures race. So every year I watch all the Best Picture. Me and my wife watch all the Best Picture films and a lot of the other films too, like for the like the acting awards. So we have watched thus far. We've watched Begonia, F1, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Okay, shit. So we only have to. No, hold on. I'm sorry. I missed something. We watched Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. So we have to watch Hamnet, Marty Supreme, The Secret Agent. I hate the way this is fucking written right now. Hold on, I'm looking at this in those thigh boots. I need the way that the list I was looking at was written was like awful, and it was not conducive to me reading off of a list. So Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Train Dreams. So we still need to watch The Secret Agent, Marty Supreme, and Hamnet. Is that true? Oh, and The Secret Agent. Okay, there's the 4 we need to watch. Hamnet, Marty Supreme. Hold on. God damn it. The Secret Agent, Marty Supreme, Hamnet. Bitch, whatever the fuck. I'm getting confused and whatever. But anyway, we watched F1 recently. So the other day we watched F1, and then last night we watched Sentimental Value. Ooh, I was thinking about this earlier. Of the movies I have seen thus far, and again, still have Secret Agent, Marty Supreme, Hamnet. I still have 3 to 4. None of these movies feel like Best Picture films for me. The girls are gonna be mad. F1 is bad. F1 is a terrible action movie. It's come on now. Why is F1 even there? So let's just put F1 to the side. One Battle After Another ain't nothing but Loving v. Virginia, The Revolution. I don't like that film. Sinners is cool. Sinners is cool. Not Best Picture. I'm sorry, it's not Best Picture. But again, I love Black people, and if they win, that's fine. I did like Train Dreams. I like Dreams, but like not. It was a good film. Best Picture. Again, I don't know about that. Um, I liked Begonia. But like for a Yorgos, how do you say that man's what is it? Yorgos Lanthimos. Uh, uh, I liked Poor Things better than this. So yeah, Begonia is fine. Best Picture, I don't know about that. Again, I've heard good things about Marty Supreme. People really like Marty Supreme. I haven't seen it though. Hamnet is also probably yeah. Like so, sentimental value. We watched it literally last night, so it's the one I've seen most recently. Sentimental value, I think it pissed me off because I think it triggered me because I'm not gonna give I don't need to give away the story, but it's essentially about like a father and a daughter relationship, and the dad was like childhood trauma and shit like that, and like reconciliation and adult parent, and in that movie kind of and I don't think that movie stuck the landing for me. It was fine. It was good. It was well acted. Um yeah, I don't know. I'm not Oh, someone else said it triggered me for it. Yeah, I think anybody with like a fucked up parent relationship is going you could maybe not sentimental value cuz you're going to be like in that it is going yeah. If you got some childhood trauma in an ancient parent, yeah, it's going to hit you. It's going to hit, brother. Yeah, Frankenstein is fine, but like it's fine. Yeah, I don't really love it. Yeah, I don't know. Like in one of these I think I think what's going to win is One Battle After Another, which is gonna oh that when I think One Battle After Another is gonna win and it's gonna piss me off so bad because that movie is not good. It is it it gets acclaim from white people who think the movie is making a revolution, who think the movie is like doing something revolutionary. It is not. That movie is the depictions of black women in that film, I would argue, are downright harmful and anti-black and and they are misogynoir. I don't like them. I love my sister Tiana Taylor, and she's probably gonna get the best supporting actress win. I love that for her, but I don't like One Battle After Another is a bad film, and I've seen it twice because I saw it by myself. Like my wife was out of town when it first came out, and I went to the movies to see it by myself. And then she needed to watch it for the Oscar thing, so like I watched it with her again. I've seen it, and the second time was even worse than the first. It's a bad movie. I hate it so bad. I hate it so bad. Oh, I'll never stop talking about my hate for One Battle After Another. Um, yeah, none of these movies are good. They're not. No. Oh, hold on. No, I didn't mean that. Sorry, I take it back. I didn't mean they weren't good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. None of these movies are good enough for a best, um, a best picture. None of these movies are good enough for a best picture. The girls are gonna be mad, and that's all right. The girls are gonna be mad. Um, thanks so much for being here. I'm gonna try to be more consistent in doing like live streams like once a week. Um, that's like a goal that I have to be more consistent in doing live streams. So thank you for joining me. I'm ending this live stream now. I'm staying on TikTok. I was just in